We do have to touch on the media review which happened on Tuesday. I can only give about 3 minutes to each of you for very, very brief thoughts on this. And I'll start with you, Mr. Okudzeto Ablakwa.
Look, Kojo, if you reflect on the depressing matters that I talked about a few minutes ago, you ask yourself, all of these budget processes, all these taxes that are being collected, are we as a country performing at our optimum? All these budgets will be meaningless if we collect taxes and use it for things like this. $113,000 for spare parts. Look, I keep reminding colleagues that Malaysia, Singapore, the Asian tigers we celebrate today, it took them only 30 years. Rwanda, that is now way ahead of us, it took them less than 30 years to be transformed. We are still here marking time after 32 years of the Fourth Republic. All of these budgets, look, the Akufo-Addo administration has added over 40 taxes. The people are strangulating. We are burdened. If at least we had some guarantees that these monies will be put to good use. So that's how I look at all of these budget statements that they read on and on and on. I think that it's high time we amend our standing orders and give these ministers. Look, I look at what happens elsewhere. House of Commons, it doesn't go beyond maximum 20 to 30 minutes. They come and go on and on repeating themselves. Look, what the Ghanaian people were expecting is that these excruciating taxes, why are we still paying COVID levy? We are the only country in the world, 2 years after COVID, declared no longer a pandemic by the World Health Organization. We are still paying COVID levy. Why do we have a betting tax? Why do we have this so-called sanitation tax? And our sanitation situation has worsened. There are so many of these taxes that can go. That should not be there. And they should be really telling us how they are going to block all these loopholes, the disregard for our procurement laws, the blatant corruption, which is now at dizzying heights and is being done with impunity in your face. We are doing it with our family members. You can go to hell, say whatever you want. We don't care. That is our economic situation. And you look at the challenges in our health sector. If you have $34.9 million to spend, Comfort is saying that they don't have machines. They are turning away dialysis patients. 18 people died at Kolebu not too long ago. The health minister told us in parliament that Ghana has only 4 functioning MRI machines. Can you believe that? 4. My region, Volta region, and OT region, we don't even have one. You get an accident, there is some bleeding in the brain, that's it. Forget it. No MRI machine. That is the state of our health sector. Collapsing, no incubators, pregnant women delivering on bare floors. So what is the relevance of all of these long budget speeches if we cannot just guarantee that our resources will be put to good use to improve the living conditions of the people?
So to you, there was no point to it?
Absolutely no point. A total waste of our time.
No.
Well, how many minutes do we have?
3.
Okay. Let me just cut to the chase. Now, Sami Okudzeto has painted a gloomy picture. I am not going to debate that picture. He talked about corruption and non-prudent use of public resources, taxes, and so on. So he talked about sanitation when we can't see any major significant improvement in sanitation in our cities and so on. Health. But you see, because we don't have a lot of time, all of these ills that Sami talks about, all of these ills were present when John Mahama was president and Sami Okudzeto was a minister of state. The corruption, if we're going to talk about the instances of corruption in that period, we will not leave the studio this morning. The misuse of public funding, the engagement of family and friends. In fact, the term family and friends was actually used for the first time in the political history of this country to describe the John Mahama government.
Does that have a bearing on our current situation?
Yes, it has. I'll give me 2 seconds, you'll see. So the economy, we went to the IMF. At that time, you didn't have the devastation of COVID and all of that. But my conclusion, because we don't have a lot of time, is that if we are going to look for an alternative to get some significant improvement in some of these lamentations, then it cannot be John Mahama. Because all of these lamentations applied during his tenure as president of Ghana, the 4.5 years between 2012 and 2016. So the lamentations can be made, but at the end of the day, what is the way forward? What is the alternative that we have? The alternative cannot be what the NDC is giving us. The alternative can only be the new person in the person of Dr. Bawumia. Since we don't have a lot of time, this is where I'll keep my comments.
All right. Well, I want to say a big thank you to both of you. I don't take lightly the sacrifice you made to be here with us this morning. Appreciate it.
With this, his claim of the new person, does that mean Dr. Bawumia was not a member of this government? He's not a vice president?
No, he's a vice president.
And he's a new person?
Yes, he's not to the presidential.
New has a new definition.
Sammy has granted us 30 seconds each for closing comments.
Okay, so let's go.
So I'll start with you, Mr. Ablakwa.
Look, let's take the Ghanaian people seriously. Dr. Bawumia cannot represent that break that this country needs from the current quagmire, the current national decay. The only way we can all get to the bottom of all these things. Look at the things that I'm discovering from opposition. Imagine what we will find when we take over. That is why I agree with incoming President Mahama when he says that a vote for Bawumia is a vote for Akufo-Addo, because he will come and protect this, cover up all of this rot. Just for accountability, we need change, so that we can hold people accountable. We can retrieve our monies. The billions of dollars in the wrong hands, wrong pockets, ought to be retrieved for national reconstruction. That alone is the case for change. And I hope the Ghanaian people would not disappoint Ghana. This is a second, independent struggle, if you like, to retake our country and reposition it for transformation, to create real opportunities for the people of our country.
No.
Well, when Professor Mills was campaigning for president, we all said he's not going to be his own man. But Samuel Okudzeto has told us that Professor Mills was such a fantastic president, and he was his mentor.
Absolutely.
In the same way, Bawumia would be his own man. I have no doubt in my mind that he will look at national issues and where attention should be placed for the good of the country. Transparency, accountability. He will do that. We've seen from the sentiments he has expressed when he gave a speech, this maiden speech at the UPSA, some of the departures that he announced. These things are core policies of the current government. And he was able to tell the country that I will chart a new course. And this and that that are happening now, if they do not change, when I become president, I'll change them. There is no bolder statement by any sitting vice president looking to be president. So Ghanaians should rest assured. Now, when it comes to responsibility, that's my conclusion. My NDC friends, they like to say that, well, the difficulties they have with the government, and some of which Samuel Okudzeto has lamented, Bawumia is responsible. how a vice president can be the responsible officer in the government. How about John Mahama, who was president? So even that argument doesn't reflect well on John Mahama, because he had responsibility as a president.
Okay.